Hello and welcome back this week to this week's edition of the Mid-Vancouver Island Real Estate Market Update. My name's Debbie Simmonds with eXp Realty. This market update includes the areas of Crofton, Chemainus, Saltaire, and Ladysmith. There's been a tremendous amount of activity this week. We are fully into the spring market now. We had a little bit of windiness this week, but other than that, some pretty nice weather. So everything's waking up, everybody's curb appeal's looking a little better, and people are feeling like listing. So I'm going to share the listing activity for the past 7 days with you first, and then I have a lot to talk about, of very important information to talk to you about at the end of this segment. Okay, so we have 12 new listings ranging from $430,000 for a patio home in Ladysmith, and all the way up to $1.3 million for a new waterfront listing in Ladysmith as well. We have 13 new sales, as all stated down here, all in the mid-range and some higher range ones. And finally, the higher range ones, look at this one at 2.9 million here on Colonia Drive. That's a development property. Is under contract now. A house on North Watts Road that's up near the highway, not near the water, and no ocean view either. For 1.4, that's a pretty astonishing number for a non-waterfront. And then one here on Chemainus Road, a waterfront for 1.55 that went in a day. And then we get over here to the ones that changed hands. 7 properties changed hands and went to their new buyers. There was 1 price reduction and 1 price increase and 3 expiries. So please call me if you want any details on any of these listings, and I'll go over them in detail with you. Astonishing week in the world, and all of this comes down to affecting our real estate market. One thing we don't talk about enough in the news or anywhere else is the macroeconomic picture, which ultimately affects our microeconomic picture, which is our local real estate market and other markets, such as our building materials markets, which ultimately affects our prices as well. So there's a lot of talk recently about putting capital gains on our primary residents. As Canadians, we've always enjoyed the benefit of having no taxable gain on our home. The Americans do, but however, they're allowed to write off the interest on the principal on their mortgages. We are not. So we are already the 3rd highest taxed country in the world, and now they're contemplating this. So if you're contemplating selling your home, this is something you need to think about very hard. I'm about to go off and get my taxes done, and I definitely myself will be conferring with my accountant because if you're, rough numbers, if your home is worth $700,000 to $800,000, capital gains may be in the neighborhood of $45,000. It's significant. You need to know if this part of your retirement plan, and all of a sudden they're going to implement this. We need to know when they're going to implement this and how much lead time we have to change our personal circumstance if we need to, and once we clearly understand this picture. So please don't overlook that one. Also, the vessel being stuck in the Suez Canal for the last week, I understand it's freed this morning. And this report is for the week of March 29th. So as of March 29th, this vessel's freed, but still there is a lot of freight backed up on docks everywhere, not only because of this, but because of COVID already. The increase in cost of shipping containers since COVID started has gone from $200 a container to $2,000 a container. So that's 10 times the shipping cost. So that helps us understand where some of these huge price increases and inflation are coming from. The Suez thing will not help. It was mostly oil tankers, and in that instance, however, it was other traffic as well, freight traffic as well. There is a huge shortage of plastics because of the big freeze in Texas and the refineries being shut down. Therefore, there's a shortage of microchips. Microchips is in almost everything we do. So, all these things to consider, because they also come down to what can we afford in our housing, and how will this affect the cost of new homes, which ultimately will affect the cost of used homes. It's all relative. They're all in relation to one another. Another thing I want to caution you on this week is be careful when you're looking at year-over-year stats, because this time last year, our market was frozen solid. Everyone was shut down due to COVID. No one was doing a thing. So when these numbers, these year-over-year numbers are hundreds of % out of whack because you're comparing it to 0 last year. Now our listing inventory is up 63% this year compared to last year. largely due to that factor, as I just described now. And you don't hear these explained properly when you read the headlines. or the geographically too. You know, what's happening in Vancouver isn't what's happening here, and so on. But they make vast generalizations based on the province. And that's something else to keep in mind. However, this big spike in prices is all over the country. I read something on Saturday that a small town in Ontario has had a 30% increase in prices since January 1st. Massive multiple offers, just like our market here. Pre-sales are massive. Pre-sales are massive. Last week there was a building, a high-rise in Surrey, 227 units sold out in 4 days. Personally, I'm listing Waterfront in Crofton next week, so watch for that. Waterfronts are rare to come up right now. I've got a nice house in the mid 400s coming up in Ladysmith at the end of this week. And I've got 2 great condos in Chemainus, one that's more suited to seniors down near the seniors, down near the doctor's offices and the hospital. And the other one, more of a rental investment property, which investors are looking for right now with ocean view. So that's a great one too. So lots going on in the world. So in my programs, I'm going to be trying to bring in more of a macroeconomic picture at the end of my report, because it's very critical to all of us, to our overall portfolios, and no one's really talking about it. So I also direct you to Michael Campbell Money Talks on CKNW at 8:35 on Saturday mornings, because it's full of incredibly information for all of us right now. So that's my report for this week. Thank you for listening. My name is Debbie Simmonds, eXp Realty. Please call me with all of your real estate needs, 250-246-0708. Professional, caring, kind.